One, first and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakah Kwadash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan Ban Yasha'Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Awafim and children that believe in truth and in sincerity. It's your brother, Atanyala, back to another lesson in Yahweh Ratazah is edifying. And this is CNN article, all right, from about a week ago in regards to the swarm of more than 40 earthquakes in 24 hours. So you had 40 earthquakes, more than 40 earthquakes in one day, all right, in America, all right, in Babylon, more so on the West Coast, the Northwest Coast region, all right. One of North America's most active fault lines sprung to life on Tuesday after a swarm of more than 40 earthquakes ranging from a magnitude 3.5 to 5.8 rattled off the coast of Oregon, catching the attention and concern of millions in the region. The series of earthquakes, which began early Tuesday morning and continued into Wednesday, were all clustered between 200 and 250 miles west of the coastal town of Newport, Oregon. Far enough to be mostly undetected on land, but given the area's seismic history, it is creating quite a buzz. You know, so this what's going on, man. As you can, if you know anything of geography, all right, if you learn in Esau schools, a lot of a small cluster of earthquakes, as you can see right here, may be a warning sign of larger one to come, you know, and just bringing this out, all right, it aligns and equates with prophecy because there's a lot going on right now, all right, and you look at the signs of the earth, you know, what the Lord is saying and speaking as well in regards to the demographics of the actual earth and what's going on in it, you know, and it's a lot going on right now, as I stated. You know, you have the talks of war, you know, Russia, and, you know, and talks of Ukraine, you know, and basically Russia invading Ukraine because they're aware that that's their back door, you know, and you have, you know, NATO and the EU doing as they want, you know, and the Russia leader, all right, Putin, you know, he's smart and crafty when it comes to the art of war as well, because he's Esau Edom, you know. And more importantly, he's not just your average president, you know, being the puppet. All right. He stems from he's supposed to be a ex-KGB operative. All right. That became president, you know. So this is a man of war, you know, but ultimately the Most High is a man of war, you know. And as you can see, that small cluster of earthquakes may be warning sign of larger one to come. And one of the scriptures I wanted to bring out is Matthew 24. In verse 6, and it's the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Right? You know, because a lot of these things have to come to pass when it comes to a Jacob's trouble, all right, coming to pass. All right, ultimately for America to be wiped off the face of the earth, man, to be a lake of fire. All right, you have prophecies that are unfulfilled. All right, being Revelations 13:15, being made mandatory, being the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. All right, you know, and you know, ultimately that's what the scripture is stating here in Matthew 24 and 6. You know, we hear the wars and rumors of the wars, you know, and these are the signs of the times that we're in, because we're at the end. All right, but the end is not yet. All right. Though it tarry, wait for it, man. That's what scriptures say. Verse 7, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Right. You know, and the famine, you know, the famine of the word ultimately has to come into play, as well as the famine, you know, famine of bread, you know, as well as more pestilences coming into this realm, you know, to the earth, you know, the world. You know, and more earthquakes, man. Ultimately, the biggest earthquake of them all, man. You know, when the Lord's go de-nuke the earth. But from now I want to get Mark 13 and 8. It's a more clear point. But it's Mark 13 and 8. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. Right. And that's what you pretty much had going on with those little small magnitude earthquakes in the northwest coast of Babylon, America, so to speak, which is a sign to ultimately a spiritual sign. You can look at it as, man, of the Lord making the biggest earthquake, when he makes inquisition on the wicked, man, in this place being America. All right, this whore. All right, this Mark 13 and 8 again. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, right? And these are the beginning of sorrows, man. And from there I want to jump to Isaiah 24. And I'll start at verse 17. And Yahweh Tazah, this lesson is edifying, man, because the Lord is going to bring that ultimate earthquake. All right. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 17. And it reads, and it shall come to pass, Salakia 24 and 17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. Right. Let's go into that. Right, the dreadful day of the Lord is approaching, man, and it's ultimately is coming to trap, that test, the dreadful day of the Lord, the lamentations, mournings, and woe is those are the scourges for amendment, man, for correction, and it's ultimately for the wicked, those who desire the day of the Lord, man. As the scriptures say, woe to them who desire the day of the Lord, believe that's Amos, it's gonna be a trap for them, man, and it's gonna be no escaping it, Verse 18, and it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, right? So they shall fall into the trap, trying to run from the noise of the judgment, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit, right? Try to wiggle himself out of the trap shall be taken in the snare. You're gonna be taken in another one, man. That's why the scriptures say, man, those who try to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life will ultimately gain life, man. Because this on this side, this is not life at all. All right. So to hopefully elect, all right, Yahweh Tazah, I'm a part of that number, and the Lord keep me in that fold. All right, until the end, man. The hopefully elect, they desire a new heaven and a new earth, which dwelleth righteousness, man. They want out of this place, Back in verse 18, for the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake, right? Because the Lord is getting ready to make inquisition upon the earth, man, and send those scourges for amendment, man, those judgments, ultimately for the correction of the people, man, the sea of people. All right. The eyes of the Lord is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. There's no escaping the judgment of the Lord, man. He's going to give everybody according to what they've done in their body. All right. Verse 19, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. Get that in verse 19. I want to get dissolved in H6565. To break, frustrate, to break, make ineffectual. Like America. America is being made ineffectual, man. The scriptures say, how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder, man? How's it broken? To be broken, to break. I believe it's Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations, man? And that's why ultimately the Lord is gathering these nations to come up against this whore, specifically Russia and China, man, making that pact of their own form of the NATO and the EU, the NATO being the military might which you can say is Russia is represented, and the EU being the financial might of the beast like system, which you can say China is taking is being a form of. All right. But ultimately, America was the spearhead of the NATO and the EU. All right, and America is no longer needed, man. This whore is no longer needed to rape, rob, and murder these other nations, man. It's done its job. All right, and now the elites, the hierarchy of the so-called Caucasian race, all right, the nation of Edom, is getting ready to be done away with this whore, man. And that's the Lord putting it in the spirit of these nations, of these elites, man. But back in Isaiah, Salakia, just get back on topic. Isaiah 24 and verse, I believe I was in verse 20. Well, Salakia, I was in verse 18. For the windows from on high are open and the foundations of the earth do shake. Verse 19, the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved, right? Broken. How is the hammer broken and cut asunder, right? The earth is moved exceedingly. That's that big earthquake. Verse 20, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again, man. And that's ultimately when those ICBM missiles hit this place, man. When the Lord denuclearized the earth, all right, and caused these nations to ultimately cast off their swords, man. Being those ICBM missiles, and ultimately having them bathed in heaven, But that's that ultimate earthquake, when the Lord is gonna cause this place to reel to and fro like a drunkard, man, because America is gonna be a memorial, man, a sacrifice, an altar, that the Lord is making a great sacrifice upon in these end times, And Yahweh Tazah, this lesson was edifying. All right, these small magnitude earthquakes, you can look at it spiritual of what the Lord is ultimately gonna bring, And Shalom and Habatah and DTA.